Hi everyone, I'm Winnie C., your host for today's webinar, Everything You Need to Know About Relocation Services. The presenter today is Andy May, COO of AAFMAA Mortgage Services. We have a few slides for you today, and we'll be talking for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then Andy will answer any questions you have. Please ask your questions by typing them into the questions block on your screen. This monthly webinar series is brought to you by AAFMAA Mortgage Services, LLC. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of AAFMAA, offering a full spectrum of mortgage products to the military community. Currently, we conduct business in Florida, North Carolina, and Virginia, and we will continue to open offices in states across the country. The AAFMAA Mortgage Services team consists of state-licensed loan officers. Among all of our professionals, we have decades of both military and industry experience. We are an equal housing opportunity lender, and for your record, our NMLS is 1423968. As a wholly owned subsidiary of AAFMAA, we operate with the same values and priorities of our parent company. AAFMAA stands for American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association, and is the longest-standing not-for-profit association that empowers military families with affordable financial solutions. We accomplish this by being the premier provider of financial planning, investment management, and trust services for the military not-for-profit. This presentation is educational. It is for general information only, and it's not specific investment, legal, or tax advice for any of you individually. Do not rely on this presentation alone to guide your home purchase decisions. Since each individual situation is unique, the type of loan that benefits you the most will not necessarily be the same as another current or former service member. For individual advice, please contact us directly. We produce this webinar series in-house with our own professional staff as a service to our members and to help them better understand the resources that are available to them. I will now go ahead and turn it over to Andy May, who will go over the agenda.
Well, thank you very much, Winnie, and welcome to all AAFMAA members. Thank you for joining us on a discussion of the relocation market and how AAFMAA is a proud relocation partner of yours to help you make your relocation smoother and less stressful. So the first slide that we will take a look at is me, but the second slide is the relocation definition. We thought we'd start with a definition, and basically the way we define relocation is moving you, the member, from point A to point B, and anything in between in terms of what you're buying or services that you're contracting out with. So whether you're looking for a realtor, a mortgage lender, trying to find education or information about a product or a concern that you have, we would recommend that you contact us, and we will be happy to give you our experiences. I myself have been relocated twice and by corporations, and have been in the mortgage business and am in the mortgage business now for 30 years. So I've seen a lot of good and a lot of unusual circumstances, and hopefully we can help you mitigate some of the risk and certainly some of the stress as you go through your personal relocation process. So our definition is moving you from point A to point B, and we are here to serve you and help you, the AAFMAA member, with making decisions as you move through this process. So we'll start on page 3 with the hidden pitfalls of the current relocation market. And it starts really with whether or not your employer is relocating you. If your employer is relocating you, you need to be aware of whether your employer is in a controlled business arrangement with other companies. So, for example, your employer may, if it's a great employer, they'll say, hey, we'll pay 2 points, and you can use them any way you want, or 2% of the purchase price. Use it any way you want to offset your moving costs. If they're in a controlled business arrangement, you'll want to ask that question to find out if the vendors that are being provided to you have simply raised their prices, so that the 2 points become either meaningless or certainly less meaningful. And so we help you read your documents and help you go through your relocation documents to make sure that you understand what your options are. That's if you have an employer relocation agreement. If you do not, then we still have the same advice that when you're starting to hire your professionals, that you ask them if they're in a controlled business arrangement. And what a controlled business arrangement is it's simply a document that HUD has required that gets the relationship between two entities to pass muster. And RESPA, the Real Estate Settlement Protection Act, Section 8A and B, defines certain things that you're not allowed to do. So you cannot pay for a referral. You can't say, I'll give you this much money if you'll send me some referrals. But you can do a controlled business arrangement where you specify who's doing what, and then you can start to pass referrals as well as compensation for cash or a check or whatever. So you can Google controlled business arrangement as well and get a definition there. But when there is a controlled business arrangement in place, it's not that it's bad, it's just that you need to know what it says. So for example, and we'll get into this in the presentation, there are some companies out there that will refer you a realtor and then keep 40% of the realtor's compensation. And while that may be considered legal, at Athma we don't have any of these controlled business arrangements, and we believe that that hurts you, the consumer, because obviously you're not going to work as hard for our military member if you're losing 40% or more of your business in terms of your revenue. So even if you're not being relocated by your employer and you're just simply moving, that's one of the first questions you should ask is, are you in a controlled business arrangement? Because you don't want to buy all your professional services from the same person. You don't want the realtor, the attorney, the loan officer, the appraiser, all the people that you're going to be interfacing with all under the same umbrella getting paid effectively if your loan closes. You want independence, and you want somebody who is your fiduciary. And a fiduciary is somebody who is legally bound to take care of you and look out for you. And you can also type fiduciary into Google and read about what a fiduciary means in the real estate business. With a realtor, they are your fiduciary initially, but once you sign a contract with them, then the relationship changes and contract law prevails. They're still your fiduciary, but in a much more limited scope. Whereas at AAFMAA Mortgage, all state licensed loan officers have a higher fiduciary responsibility than unlicensed state loan officers. And one of the things that we found surprising is we've done some research on the controlled business arrangement is the state of Ohio did some research and found that 90% of all transactions were within a controlled business arrangement. So it's more prevalent than you think, and you should educate yourself on that, because these costs will most likely either be passed on to you or simply you'll get less service than you deserve. So those are some of the hidden pitfalls in terms of the controlled business arrangement within the relocation market, it's important for you to educate yourself. Consumeraccess.org is a great website to go to. We've got that on our website, and that is one place where you can go to check out mortgage lenders, mortgage loan officers, and find out what their employment history has looked like. We've had situations where we're competing against other companies. We go to that website for our member, and we say, we'll type it in for you, and it turns out that the loan officer they're working with is unlicensed in the state in which they're working and has had 15 jobs in 15 years. So that's usually not a professional that you want to take advice from. But if we turn to slide number 4, what is Athma doing in the relocation business? And the answer is, we are here to serve you. We are providing you with a series of products that you can purchase if you are in the market for them. And we've contacted these companies, and we're aware of discounts that they provide. So that is one of the things that Athma is doing for you. And you can find these companies and links to these companies at athma.com/relocation. And that's on slide 4. While you're there, you may also need a realtor. And so we have provided what we think is an industry first. It's a unique realtor finder. And it's unique in a number of ways. One, it's specific to our footprint, where we do business, as Winnie said, in Florida, Virginia, and North Carolina. And 2, none of these people that are being searched have a controlled business arrangement with Athma. We do not ascribe to doing the controlled business arrangement. And you also should ask for the documentation on the controlled business arrangement at the beginning. A lot of companies will wait until the closing table to provide that for you, and that is just not the right way to do it. You can't change your mind at that point in time. Well, you can, but you'll lose a lot of money. So a couple of the companies that we're working with, Furniture Land South, they're a furniture store in Jamestown, North Carolina, up in the High Point area, and they do about $200 million a year in sales out of that location. And they have 2.5 million cubic square feet of furniture, and they are providing Athma members up to a 65% discount on their furniture. So they offer furniture under many, many brands, and we've known them for quite some time. They're honorable people, and so we feel confident that they'll serve you well. None of these companies do we guarantee their service. Obviously, you'll have a relationship with them. All you have to do is say, I'm an Athma member, and I would like to speak to somebody about my discount and how I can get that. They'll assign you an interior designer / salesperson, and that person will work with you to pick out the furniture, either online, or you can visit them at their 2.5 million cubic square foot buildings that they have. It's quite, I think they've been referred to as the Disneyland of furniture, and it is the largest furniture store in the world. So Mayflower and United Van Lines, also here in North Carolina out of Fayetteville, have agreed to work with us and our Athma members. So you can get a quote from them. And then, of course, Lowe's, another North Carolina company, provides a 10% discount to military members and veterans and active duty during the relocation process. And we've provided a link there so you can see what you need to do to qualify for that discount. So what we're doing is building some value for you. We're not suggesting that these are the only companies that you should look at, but it does provide you at least with some sort of an idea of what you can get in the marketplace while you go through what is typically one of the more stressful events in your life, relocating from point A to point B. And along with that, we have state licensed loan officers here at AAFMAA Mortgage, and we have a fiduciary responsibility to look out for your best interests, and we try the hardest that we can to make sure that you're well aware of all the pitfalls as you move through this process to get into your new residence. So check us out at athma.com/relocation, and we certainly would appreciate phone calls too, and we can walk you through how this process works. So if we'll turn to slide 5, a couple of questions that come to mind typically, particularly when you're meeting with a realtor, and we recommend that you speak to us before you contact a realtor. We recommend that because we'll want to talk to you about the pros and cons of certain realtors and what to look for. We have a factor model in our relocation website that you can type in certain factors and see what realtors are currently in our database. They've been pre-approved by us. Again, we don't guarantee their work. That's your relationship with them. But we've had a conversation. We've kind of vetted them a little bit, and we've probably either done business with them or know their reputation in the marketplace. So you can rest assured that they're going to be good, but there's no guarantee. It's up to you to have the relationship with that realtor. So we recommend you call a mortgage lender first, because you will be signing a contract with the realtor, and there are certain variables that we'd love to chat with you about before you sign that contract. Realtors will ask you what's important in terms of your distance to work, your distance to schools, if you've got a family, what do they like to do, and you'll start to pinpoint kind of the neighborhoods that make sense to you. And we've got neighborhood realtors, so if you find a neighborhood, you can say, okay, I want that neighborhood, and a realtor should pop up. The website's a couple of weeks old, so please excuse us if it's not fully populated in all areas. Who is your relocation team is really important. As I said earlier, you don't want a one-stop shop. That way you're just basically getting advice from one person. You need multiple professionals giving you advice so that you can weigh that advice and figure out what's important. So some of the other things that the realtor will ask you about: schools, electricity costs. These are the things you should have a conversation with your realtor. You will be doing due diligence and earnest money checks that you have to fill out. We'd love to chat with you about how to mitigate the risks of losing your due diligence and earnest money. And for those of you that haven't bought a house in the last 4 or 5 years, it's relatively new for consumers and our members when they go out and they have to write a check to the listing or the owner of the house. That's how it starts. You write a due diligence check directly to the seller of the house now, and you do not get that money back unless you're doing a VA loan, and under certain circumstances you don't qualify for that VA loan. You may get your money back on the earnest money and the due diligence, but otherwise you're going to be losing the due diligence money, because typically that is cashed immediately. So give us a call. We'd love to chat with you about how that process works and how to mitigate your risk. And now we'll turn to slide 6 to give you an idea of what we're doing in the future. We are starting to think about piloting with some companies that will turn on your power, your water, your cable, do all of these things that you need to have done in your new home. And there's a lot of things. These are just some of the options. So you would fill out a form, and if you're interested, you say, yes, I'd like you to order all that, all those items. And of course, we would not have a controlled business arrangement with any of these companies. They would be competing for your business, and you would have options. And I've done this before where you can do all of this in a day, and it's a wonderful experience. And so that's just something that we're thinking about in the future to serve you. We're not sure when or if that will come out this year, but it's something that should be relatively easy to add on to this great relocation package that we have. So if we go to page 7, that's my cell phone, my email. We also have a great staff of 5 other people, so please feel free to contact us and ask your questions of us. We all have significant experience in this business, and we look forward to serving you. So thank you very much for being on the call, and thank you very much for your time. I'll turn it back over to Winnie.
Thanks, Andy, for this educational presentation. We've collected a few questions already, but for those in the audience, please do not hesitate to ask other questions by typing them into the questions block on your screen. Okay, the first question is, what does AAFMAA Mortgage Services charge for this service?
Well, this is a free service to all members. You do not even have to be relocating to take advantage of these services. Obviously, Mayflower and United Van Lines, probably you would need to be moving, but Furniture Land South is extending their offer to all members of AAFMAA. So the service is free. We're offering this to our members as a convenience and a way to hopefully save money and provide a shadow bid, so to speak, of what a good or a service might cost you along the way. And a consultation with our state licensed loan officers is also free. We do not charge our members anything if we do not close a loan with you.
Great. Question number 2. What is the difference between the Realtor/Builder search feature compared to other relocation services provided by competitors?
So we do not have any kind of an arrangement with any of these service providers, the Realtor or the Builder. And the Builder site we're currently working on, so if you're interested in building a home, we will have builders on this site eventually as well that we have vetted or work with and believe in. But the Realtor side, we do not have any pre-existing relationship or arrangement with them where cash is being exchanged. There's no controlled business arrangement. And we're simply providing you a list of realtors that we have checked out and identified as solid realtors. Again, there's no guarantee, but we believe that this gives you yet another option and also helps you hone your skills in identifying good realtors. And so, for example, you might turn to the web and type in who's a good realtor in Norfolk, Virginia. And it turns out that somebody comes up, you pick them, you call them, and then they turn you over to a newbie realtor. And that's not what we consider a great relationship. We're not looking to go after what I refer to as the big box realtor who has an avatar on the internet and is advertising like mad, who you'll probably only meet once, and then you're getting all your advice and contract negotiations from somebody who's new. That's not our plan. We would like to show you what you're really getting and be as transparent as possible. So please check out the website and you will be able to see how we've arranged the variables on picking realtors.
Great. The last question is, who has access to the discounts mentioned earlier in the presentation?
All AAFMAA members have access to the discounts. All you have to do is call the company and say, I'm an AAFMAA member, and I would like to hear about the discount that you provide, and they should provide you with a quote. As I said earlier, at Furniture Land South, you'd be assigned an interior decorator / salesperson. They would work up pricing quotes for you based on AAFMAA preferred pricing, which is up to 65% discount. At Lowe's, they have an explanation on their website of how they provide the discount, and that was last noted at 10% off. So each of the companies are going to be different. We're just simply providing you with an opportunity to negotiate and communicate and speak with these companies that are aware that the military is very important and have discounts for the military.
Great. Thanks, Andy. Those were some great questions. If we didn't fully answer your question or you think of another question later, please reach out to us at mortgage@athma.com, or you can email Andy directly at amay@athma.com. We'll go ahead and break here for now, but you can reach us whenever you need to. Please do not hesitate to ask for help. This is what we do. This weekend, you received a follow-up email with instructions on how to access a recording of this presentation. And you can always sign up for future webinars or review past webinars at mortgage.athma.com. If you found this information useful, please share it with your friends and family. Our membership grows stronger every year because you introduce your friends to Athma. Thank you and have a great day.